Before we talk about design, technology, or opinion, I want to start with the headlines. These aren't just articles, they represent real people, real families, and moments where seconds matter. For those who lost someone or survived serious accidents, this conversation isn't theoretical. It's personal, and nothing in this video is meant to minimize that loss. So before we talk about how these systems work, let's acknowledge why this conversation exists in the first place. Tesla is proud of its technology, and honestly, that pride is earned. They've pushed the auto industry forward with software driven vehicles, over the air updates, and designs that prioritize efficiency and minimalism. They've changed what people expect from a car. But innovation always comes with trade offs. When a company moves this fast, reliability and quality systems don't always mature at the same pace as the technology itself. And most of the time, that shows up as minor inconveniences, things you can live with. The problem is that not all systems are equal. Systems affect comfort, some affect convenience, and some affect whether you can get out of a car when everything has already gone wrong. Door handles fall into that last category. They're not just a design feature, they're a safety critical system, and when something goes wrong with them, the consequences aren't small. They're immediate, and sometimes they could be fatal. Tesla door handles are electronically actuated. Instead of a purely mechanical lever, the handle relies on a small motor, sensors, and power from the vehicle to unlock and present the door. When you pull the interior release, you are sending an electronic signal that tells the latch to disengage. There is a manual mechanical backup, but it's secondary and designed mainly for emergencies. In normal conditions, the system works smoothly, but because it relies on power and electronics, its behavior can change during crashes and power loss. To show this, I decided to create a small, not very accurate test in how long it would take me to open a Tesla door versus a regular mechanical door. For this test, I have my Tesla Model Y 2022 as well as my Porsche Macan also 2022. That means that these cars are both from the same year, have very similar technologies, but the door handles are completely different. Keep in mind that this is not a lab test. It's not about perfect conditions. It's about instinct and what happens when you react instead of thinking. As you can tell, opening the Tesla Model Y's front door as well as the passenger, it's very easy. There is a latch and there's also a manual door release warning just in case you open it without needing to do it this way. However, the story changes when you're a passenger in the rear seat of a Tesla Model Y, a Model X, a Model S, as well as a Model 3 and the Cybertruck. Upon completing this test, something stood out to me. It's not just the time difference, it's why the time difference existed. With a traditional car, opening the door is automatic. You reach, you pull, and the door opens. No thinking, no decision making, just muscle memory built over decades. With Tesla, there is a pause. Not because the car is broken, not because the systems don't work, but because your brain has to engage, you have to locate, then release, decide which end to use, and sometimes apply a motion that is not instinctive. In calm conditions, the delay feels insignificant. Under stress, it's a whole different story. In emergencies, the human brain does not problem solve well. Fine motor skills degrade, tunnel vision sets in, people revert to instincts. The 1 or 2 seconds of hesitation, the moment where someone freezes or second guesses, can be the difference between getting out and being trapped. Emergencies don't give instructions. Smoke, fire, injuries, or darkness compress time. The safest design is the one that requires the least thinking, the one your body already knows how to use. That's why this matters so much. I also took a quick Google research on how much time do you have to escape a car fire, and the results are incredible. It takes less than a minute for you to be trapped in the car when a fire ensues in a car. This aligns with some of the stories that we've been seeing. It also aligns with the timing. It took me, a knowledgeable person about Tesla, to get out of the car. It took me a little bit over a minute, and that's the time span that you have to get out of the car. For families who have lost loved ones, these delays aren't design debates. They're moments that change lives forever. No analysis can undo that, and no discussion about innovation should ever sound like it's excusing those outcomes. Talking about these issues isn't about blame. It's about preventing the next family from having to ask why escaping wasn't simpler. I want to address another big question, and it is very important to say this. Tesla is not the only company using electronic or pop out door handles. Other car manufacturers do too. The difference is prioritization. Many retain a clear, visible, mechanical interior door handle as a primary exit, with electronics layered on top. Tesla often reverses on that. Electronics come first and mechanicals are as backup. That distinction matters when instinct takes over. Now, I do have a couple of questions or theories on how people see this, why this is a very big problem for Tesla, and then I'm gonna try to explain what I think the solution could be. One of the biggest questions people ask is this: if automakers use electronic or motorized door handles, why does Tesla seem to be the one under the microscope? The first reason, to me, it's visibility. Tesla is not just a car company, it's a cultural symbol. Its vehicles are constantly connected, constantly recorded, and being discussed at all times. When something goes wrong, it's often captured on camera and uploaded online within minutes. That level of exposure changes everything. A similar failure in a traditional vehicle may be more of a police report, an insurance claim, or a local news story. A Tesla incident becomes a part of a global conversation about technology, automation, and most importantly, safety. Tesla markets itself as the future of transportation. When you position yourself as redefining how cars work, people expect not just innovation, but superiority in safety, reliability, and fail-safes. So when a basic function like opening a door becomes an issue, it feels more jarring, not because Tesla fails more often, but because the failure contradicts the promise. Visibility turns rare problems into defining moments, and perception starts to outweigh statistics. In short, Tesla isn't being judged by the same standards as everyone else because Tesla chooses not to operate like everyone else. The second theory goes a little bit deeper, and it's less about Tesla as a company and more about human behavior. Tesla designs for an ideal user, someone calm, someone informed, someone a little bit more tech savvy, someone familiar with the vehicles and the brand. However, emergencies don't involve ideal users. They involve people who are injured, panicked, disoriented, or riding in the car for the very first time. In those moments, the human brain doesn't adapt to new systems. It falls back on instinct and muscle memory. For decades, that instinct has been simple: see a handle, pull it, and get out. The issue isn't that Tesla's systems doesn't work, it's that they work differently than what people expected, especially under stress. This is why door handles become such a flashpoint. They are not complicated in daily use. They are complicated when thinking shuts down. Tesla design's philosophy assumes users will learn to adapt. Emergencies prove that in the moments that matter the most, people don't learn, they react. And when innovation asks humans to override instinct during a crisis, instinct usually wins. I want to amplify why I believe these two theories reinforced each other. Tesla's visibility ensures that every failure is always seen, as well as human instinct ensures that those failures feel unacceptable. That combination creates a perception that Tesla's door handles are uniquely dangerous even when similar technologies exist elsewhere. The truth likely sits in the middle. This isn't about demonizing innovation, and it's not about ignoring progress. It's about recognizing that safety critical design must work not just in normal conditions, but in chaos, panic, and fear. That's the standard that Tesla is being held to. And whether that standard is fair or not, it is the one that matters the most. This problem isn't unsolvable. Tesla doesn't need to abandon innovation, it needs refinement. Making the mechanical release obvious and primary, standardizing emergency exits across all models, designing for panic, not instruction, and treating physical redundancies with the same importance as software's redundancy. Improving this is not a weakness, it's what mature engineering looks like. Tesla door handles aren't controversial because they are different. They are controversial because they reveal what happens when the future-focused design meets human instinct under stress. The answer isn't less innovation. It's innovation that fails safely when it matters most. To conclude, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. To me, this is a very real issue that needs to be addressed heavily. I personally believe that the future of transportation isn't just smarter technology. It's technology that understands how humans behave when everything goes wrong.